Health Monday with Jared and Jacob from Marble City Pharmacy. And Jared, we have missed you, man. Where in the world have you been? On location or something?
You can't keep track of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why don't we have satellite cameras out places where he can, come in here, like the weather reporter would.
I try to stay under the radar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand. Hey, edema. What in the world is edema?
Well, that's a good question. Edema is the technical term really for a certain type of swelling, right? When you have body fluids that build up in certain parts of the body, usually it's the hands or the arms or the feet, the legs, the ankles, right? But we want to make sure we differentiate that between other types of swelling. You can have swelling, right, from an injury. You can have swelling from arthritis. A lot of times that'll happen in the hands as well. So edema, though, is swelling from buildup of fluid in certain parts of the body.
E-D-E-M-A.
Correct.
Very good.
Correct.
I read that.
I'm very impressed with you. I'm very impressed with you.
So how do we know if we have edema?
Well, it has certain telltale signs that people are very quick to notice. It's not very many days between times that people come in the pharmacy and want to, hey, what is this? People notice it. And so it's very simply put, and it's not a complicated concept. It's swollen areas of the body, again, usually the hands, feet, most commonly ankles and feet. Mm-hmm. And you can tell when you're dealing with it, it's not an injury swelling. It's a fluid swelling. They get puffed up almost like there's a balloon under there. They get puffed up almost always ankles and feet, is where we're looking first. It stretches the skin out because, again, the skin's only so elastic, so the skin gets real taut and stretched, and it gets uncomfortable. And often, not always, so this is not a definition, but often, not always, if let's say this is your ankle and it's swollen and you kind of press in with your thumb, pull your thumb back, it stays dented in, for several seconds. It doesn't just pop right back in, that and it's back, that and it's back. You do this, move your finger, it's very slow to rise back up because of all that fluid coming back in there.
The term, Jared, edema sounds serious. Is it serious?
Well, it definitely can be, and we'll talk some more about that in just a minute. It is common, though, in conditions like pregnancy, right? You guys who have been pregnant, or you men who have had wives who have been pregnant, you know that swelling is very common in pregnancy. It's also very common around a woman's menstrual cycle. So you guys have experience with that, you females as well. And then it can also happen if you take in too much salt, right? Water follows sodium, right? We learned that in school over and over and over and over. Water follows sodium. So you have too much salt intake, sometimes you can have swelling that's not serious because of that. But then there are some other conditions that can be quite serious that result in edema.
We're going to talk about that as well, but what are some of the more serious causes?
Very good. And basically you put these in two categories. It can be called, well, the reason they're serious categories also isn't it can lead to problems, but these aren't going to just magically go away if you don't do something. That's the reason they're also serious causes. Two categories. One, there are certain medications that this is a side effect. You don't change the medication, it's not going to go away. Certain medications for blood pressure, very common medications. Certain medications for blood pressure, certain medications for diabetes, steroids, other types of anti-inflammatories, even certain hormone medicines. All of these things can cause edema. And again, as long as you're on this medication, you're going to keep having it. It's not going to go away, so it can lead to serious issues. The other half of the equation, that's medicines. The other half of the equation of serious issues with edema is it can be other underlying diseases that this is just a symptom of. The most common and serious being congestive heart failure. You start going into heart failure, one of the first signs is fluid swelling, fluid edema, because your heart can't keep up with getting the fluids moving all the way through. Can also be a sign of certain kidney and liver diseases, and so certain vein issues like clots, problems like that, or just what we call venous insufficiency. They're not doing their job getting the blood and fluid flowing through your body. So obviously those things I just mentioned, the 4 or 5, are pretty serious conditions that the edema is just a sign or a symptom of, and we need to get that checked out to see what else is going on.
So what can I do personally to help with this?
Well, there are more than 4, but I'm going to give you 4 things that any of us can do to help with edema. One is to decrease our salt intake. you may say, well, I don't take in that much salt. Sometimes just a little percentage of decreased salt intake can help. Another thing is compression. Some of you, if you've ever had swelling in your legs, you'll have the physician tell you, go get some compression stockings. They're very tight, right? But they're designed to assist your body in moving the fluid where it's
Y'all
supposed
have those
to
at
go.
the store?
Oh, absolutely, okay. Absolutely. And there are varying levels of compression. Some are designed to be very tight. Those are more for your people who have blood clots and such. And then there are some that are less tight to assist with swelling, but compression for sure. Then you have movement. Now you want to make sure you clear this with your doctor, the types of exercises that you're going to do. But moving these hands or legs, moving these arms, moving these limbs around always helps. And then lastly, elevation. You've seen this before, but you elevate your leg. It needs to be over the level of your heart. So you kind of you kind of got to get it up. You got to get it high, right? And that can help to decrease the edema.
Now I can hurt my back if I do it.
You might hurt your back.
You might hurt your back. That's true.
That's a great point.
Oh yeah. But you talked about prescription medications. Let's touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah. So the treatments, when the things like Jared says aren't enough, when you've got a major underlying cause or something else going on, what he's talking about doesn't clear the problem, obviously you got to go to a doctor and get some things done. First thing I tell a lot of people is if you're seeing this, even before you call your doctor, hey, give us a call. Let me look at your medication list, because there's about 5 I'm looking for. It takes about 30 seconds for me to look at your list and go, oh, there it is, right there. It's drug number 2 on your list. That's extremely common side effect of this drug. You need to, let's say it's a blood pressure medicine. Okay, you need to call your doctor this afternoon. Hey, I'm on this for my blood pressure. I'm swelling up like a balloon. Can we try something else for my blood pressure? And a lot of times that fixes the problem. And so, check with your pharmacist. Let's see, is one of my drugs commonly known to cause this?
So let me throw this out here. I take Linsepril as a blood pressure medicine. What about that?
That is not one of the ones that's common to cause. So there's hundreds of medicines out there in all these categories, and there's just a few we're keying in on. Call a pharmacist. We'll look through your list. Second one is, the reason sometimes you have to go to your doctor a lot with this, and it's a more serious issue, requires treatment, is you got to figure out what the underlying cause is. Mm-hmm. Let's say the cause is they test you and you've got heart failure. Obviously, there's a lot of medications coming at you for that, not just to treat the fluid swelling. But then, the most common answer for any of these is they'll give you diuretics, water pills, to get some of this fluid off of you, regardless of what the cause is in a lot of instances.
Wow. Edema.
Edema.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I practice a little bit.
I think I dated a girl named Edema one time.
Let's talk about the remodeling project and how that's going.
Well, I think I had 7 hairs left. I'm down to about 4 with the remodel. Actually, it's coming along very well. They got some metal studs in there. The plumbing is coming along. The electrician is ready to do his thing. So, we're in a battle with the contractor on the final date. Don, if you're listening,
tomorrow
we're going to need to move it on, right? We're going to need to move it up.
That's what I told him.
Yeah.
Every time he comes in, I up it by another month when I need it to be done. So we're now into September when I'm demanding that it's done. But I'm just kidding. Everything's coming along great. It's going to be beautiful. Whole lot more room in the place. More room to do what we want to do. Bigger gift shop, larger pharmacy. It's going to be fantastic. So
that drive-through is going to be something else too.
That's the biggest change. I think the individual biggest change.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, appreciate you guys coming by this morning, talking about edema. And before we leave this morning, people who come to Marble City Pharmacy, it's not like y'all moved across the country or anything like that. You just moved a few doors down, and it seemed like the hardest thing to get through some folks. We ain't moved out of town. We're still here.
We are creatures of habit, and people know what door they normally go to, and when that habit is broken, there's a moment of panic. No, just keep coming all the way down to the end of the sidewalk. We're still there.
Down in the corner.
Down in the corner. About where I spent most of my school years.
Yeah, all right. In the corner. Jared and Jacob from Marble City Pharmacy, our guests this morning on Daybreak Live. Help Monday. We're back right after this on Daybreak Live.